Hi, it's Kyle from Griffin's Greenhouses. Time to make our winter planters, and today I'm going to show you how to make our deluxe winter evergreen pot. We're starting with a brand new pot today that has sand in it and our floral foam brick. But if you have a pot at home that still has your annuals in it, you can just simply cut those off at the soil surface and use that to plant your branches in. Or if you're going to use an empty pot with a soil mixture, make sure that it's a good heavy topsoil mix or a black earth mix so that it'll be heavy enough to hold the branches. Potting soil is just too fluffy, won't hold the branches during the winter winds. Okay, so that said, we're going to start with, it's a deluxe planter, so we're putting 2 birch logs in. What I've done is I've taken one of our 4-foot birch poles and I've cut it to 2 different lengths. I'm going to start with the taller length near the back, not all the way to the back, but close to it. And the second branch angled just a little bit off center and in front of it. I'm packing some of the sand around the branches to make sure that they stay nice and tight. So from the front, it'll be angled that direction. Turn it back towards me. The next bough that we are going to be using is red pine. It has a lot of big solid needles on it and is a very strong branch. So what it does is it gives our winter arrangements strength. I like to refer to this stuff as the skeleton of the arrangement because it holds up just like the bones of your body do. First branch I like to place is the main tall branch at the back. I kind of put him in between the other 2 just so that he'll show up as a third height in the center of the pot. Then I take the remainder of my red pine boughs and I clip them off. Always clipping at an angle so that when you push them into the soil of your pot, they have a nice sharp edge to cut down in with. Couple more boughs. This one's quite big, so I'm going to cut him a little bit shorter. And I'm going to place him near the back. Always angle your boughs outward from the center of the pot so that it gives it that nice round look to it. Clip a few more branches here. Take a look at them, make sure that you get the curve right. And always turn your pot so that you're working in front of you rather than reaching around behind. A couple more branches and I think we'll be there. You don't want to make it too full with this bough because we've got a lot of other really beautiful greens to use. So that's about enough red pine right there. As you can see, it just makes the shape of the arrangement so that it's strong to hold up against any of those heavy, wet snows that we're bound to get. Next green we move on to is white pine. This guy also has a really nice curve to it, but it's much softer. I like to clip all my boughs first and then go about building the rest of the pot. I've cut the center of this guy out because he'll be nice on his own, but then those 3, I'm going to leave them on the same stem and use them all together. That stuff's a little small, so I'll use it for a smaller project. That one I'll clip. Those I'll leave together, and that whole bunch I'll leave together as well. So I'll show you, when you leave them all on the same stem, they all go in one push and they kind of fill out those gaps and holes that the red pine has left. Now I often refer to the white pine as the body of the arrangement because it's coming in to fill in a lot of the spaces and holes in the shape. So it's like putting flesh on the bones of the container, filling it out. Don't forget the center. And again, always keep turning the pot, taking a look at the bough, the way that it's shaped. If it's a small guy, put him near the edge so that he'll curve over. If it's a bigger one, he can fill out in the center. So that's pretty good because we have a couple more greens to go, so you don't want to fill it up too much with the white pine. Next one we'll be moving on to is cedar. This one has a really beautiful lime color to it compared to the other 2 greens, and it has sort of a lacy edge to it, so it gives you a different texture. These guys are best to leave in pieces, about half the size of the branch, and then gather them all together and use them all as one piece going in there. Because all these small little guys can really get lost if you cut them all separately. Now the cedar and the other prettier evergreen boughs we're going to be using from here on, I like to refer to as the clothes of the pot. So we've built the skeleton out of the red pine. We've put the body of the planter in with the white pine, and now we're adding clothes to it with the cedar. Take a really nice, beautiful fan of it like that and have it curving over the edge. Make sure your boughs dig in good and deep. We will get some strong winds and winter storms. And there we go, pretty much gone around the pot once, adding cedar in there. So now it's coming out throughout the whole arrangement. Now we're moving on to some of the more specialty greens, some of the more exotic stuff. I've got balsam here, but you can also add in BC cedar, BC silver fir, there's Carolina sapphire, there's lots of different kinds of evergreen boughs that really add just one more dimension, one more color, one more texture to the arrangement. The balsam, I like to leave some of these big, wide pieces to use around the edges so that you've got a really big drapey skirt that comes over the sides of the pot. You'll see them from a distance when you're admiring your work afterwards. And always, don't forget, going in the center. I'll add this guy up front. Okay, so that pretty much handles all the evergreen boughs. You can add more, you can keep going and going and going, adding different kinds and different varieties in there. I like to kind of stop at the 4 so that I've got a bit more room to start adding really beautiful little accent pieces, like things like our cabins. We've got these neat cross-country skis. There's big pine cones. We've got some artificial berries and all that. So this is where you get to start creating. I like to take a spot like this. This is a bit of a hole. I could have kept adding branches and stuffing and filling that full, but I thought to myself, no, I'm going to leave that for this wonderful little cabin. And with your accents, you always want to make sure they go down in among the boughs so you don't really see the stick, so that they look more natural in there. Yeah, that's going to turn out nice. I'll add some of these berries. Front, got more at the back. Can never go wrong with pine cones. There, I'll tuck another guy over here, maybe. There we go. Birds as well. You can add a cardinal. Sky's the limit. Your imagination's the only thing that will hold you back. That's how you make our Deluxe Evergreen Planter.